What's happening, everybody? It is Thursday night. It's time for another episode of Thrifty Business. I'm your host, Vegas J, and with me tonight, I forgot to teach you guys how to do your lower thirds. Crap. Is my co-host, Kentucky Brenda. What's happening, Kentucky Brenda?
Oh, not much. How's everybody doing?
What is going on this lovely Thursday evening? It's a glorious day here in Vegas. How's the weather in Kentucky?
Hot and humid.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not here. Here it's really nice. And we got two special guest tonight. It's another jam-packed show talking about eBay Open 2017, what we learned, what we loved, the fun we had, blah, blah, blah. So one of our guests tonight is Theresa Cox. How are you, Theresa?
Woo-hoo! I am doing fine in Arizona. It's a nice overcast day today.
Nice. And we got blue skies here. And our other guest is one of the surfers from the Thrifting Board, Peter Hoffman Jr. How are you, Peter?
Hey guys, how we doing?
Peter, where you at?
SoCal.
Oh, that's right.
Cowabunga, dude.
And how's the weather there today?
Hot, very hot.
What part of Southern California?
I think I got the best weather today because it's not too bad. All right, before we bid adieu to our guests for a minute, let's get into. Oh, I meant to show the art. Here's my attempt at art. I think I did a pretty good job. The four of us look really nice together, I think. But let's get right into it, shall we? It is time for. Let's have the speaker the right way. Jay's Tiki Talk, where each week I drink a different rum out of a different tiki mug and give you a little lesson in the process. So, in honor of two of the three people here today, Bridget sent me Kentucky Prohibition rum. It's kind of got, definitely got a bourbon taste to it. It's pretty unique and different, but I like it. And Theresa and I were just in San Francisco, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. And one of the tiki bars she was gracious enough to hang out with me is a bar called Forbidden Island. And let me have a sip of this rum, then I'll show you what's really unique about this mug. This mug is pretty bitchin' because I have to turn the light off. There's a porthole in the back. There we go. And as you can see, there's a light up ice cube in there. Woo!
Hey, did you put the ice cube in there?
Yeah, so it comes with it. So this is no one else has ever had the audacity to try this, but it's pretty bitchin'. Porthole in the mug with the light up.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
Do those ice cubes really work?
Not as ice, but definitely as as an entertainment device.
Okay, so how come the drink from falling out the porthole?
Well, that's the magic. We can't ruin the magic. So that is
No magic
in honor of Theresa drinking out that mug. In honor of Bridget, I'm drinking that rum. So thank you guys both for contributing to my tiki delinquency. All right.
You forgot to mention that rum is 112 proof.
Oh, yes. That rum is 112 proof. Woo! Yeah, you're right. I did forget that part. All right.
That's
so
right.
We will say goodbye to our guests for a little bit while Bridget and I do our segments.
Bye.
And it won't let me turn you off, Pete. So don't be wandering around naked because you're on for some reason. It won't let me turn you off. So we're just going to turn you down for now.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
I could see someone not paying attention. Oh, before we go into the actual segments, I do want to talk about a passing that happened in the Thrifty Business Thrifting Board Secret Beach family. Daryl Riley was a guest on Thrifty Business not too long ago back. And Daryl is an avid seller, collector, and expert on glass, cut glass and the like. And he was on our show talking about it. Daryl was in the Thrifting Board and the Secret Beach. And the really cool thing about him being in both is we got to meet, besides being on the show, we met, he took a class with me and brought his husband, and his husband was not a thrifter. But for some reason, between reading the posts in both groups and hanging out with me, his husband started to enjoy it and really get into thrifting. And so I just wanted to pay tribute and to send out love and hugs to his husband, Bill, Daryl was a great guy, and in his honor, I have donated to two places in his name. If you're interested, I do have the donations down below in the description. I donated to the ACLU because they fight every day for the rights of the LGBTQ community. And Daryl died of heart disease, so I also donated to the American Heart Association. So if Daryl helped you, or if you enjoyed him on the show in any way and want to honor his memory, please donate to either of those organizations. I think, Bridget, you wanted to say something?
Oh, he was definitely one of a kind. He was always willing to help. Anytime we tagged him on glass or anything that he was an expert on, he always jumped in and gave, the best answers. So we really are going to miss him in our group.
Yeah. So here's a toast to you, Daryl. I'm going to miss you, buddy. I was ready to do a part 2 with you too. So Godspeed, sir. All right, let's get into the segments now. And we are on the wrong screen. Time for our scores of the week, where Bridget and I will show you the cool stuff we sold this week, give you some bolos. If you don't know what a bolo is, that is be on the lookout. Things that you should be keeping your eye out for so you can buy them to sell them to make good money. All right, you're up first there, Bridget.
All right. The first is an Andre'd Hawaiian shirt. I bought this for $3 or $4 a couple of years ago when I finally got around to listing it about the beginning of. I know. I finally got around to listing it. I'm guilty of death piles. We'll go into that later. Anyway, I finally listed it beginning of the year, I guess it was. Paid, like I say, $3 or $4, and I took a best offer of $35. So I was happy to see it go, but that also is a really good profit.
Oh, heck yeah.
So,
It's a cool shirt. I wish I was a tad smaller for all these cool vintage shirts.
Yes. And of course, the Dansko shoes. I always love selling shoes. Those I paid $4 for. I had them listed for, I think I had them listed for $45, and I had a sale in my store and sold them for $38.96, and they fit really nicely in a padded flat rate envelope. Paid $4 for them. So I was happy to see those go also.
I'm just happy that it goes.
Yes, get it out of here. TJ Berry Tails. If you were a kid of the 80s and early 90s, you remember TJ Berry Tails. I found this at a thrift store for $2 and sold it for, the packaging was damaged. The cartridge was fine. I sold it for $20, and it fit very nicely in an eBay mailer. So shipped for first class it was under 6 ounces. So it was cheap to ship. And hats. I love selling hats. I paid $1.79 for this hat. Had all my hats on sale. I think I had it listed for $35, and of course it was on sale. So I sold it for $30.76. Shipped it first class. It's out of here. And
where'd you find this? It's a pretty cool hat.
Goodwill.
So for those of you who don't know, Robin, this is a band. They're called They Might Be Giants. Band I enjoyed in the 80s, and I still enjoy today. But yeah, you can often find band hats in the thrift store. Most times they don't even notice they're bands. Every hat just gets hung up together. So always keep your eyes out for stuff that would have been sold at the merch table at a concert.
Exactly.
All right, so here's my first thing. I'm always telling everyone to get outside their comfort zone. I bought a dress with a whale on it. Well, that was way outside my comfort zone, and it just sold yesterday or today. I think we shipped it today, $63.99. Awesome. Now, it's an artist, Thomas Paul. I'm not sure if it's sold because of him or because it's a badass whale dress. I'm not sure.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, but I got it at a little tiny thrift store here in town, and I paid $3.99 for it. I had been talking about how T-shirts are kind of falling off. But again, if you work through the T-shirts and find cool stuff, and here we are back to bands and artists that people might not know. Chris Stapleton is a current country artist, but he's kind of got that old school country feel. And this is one of them bitchin' 3/4 sleeve baseball T-shirt jersey type shirts. And I paid $3.99, sold for $35. And if you remember, Stacy got all excited to go jean shopping not too long ago because of Joy's webinar in the Secret Beach. And that day, this is one of the items she found, Calvin Klein denim overalls. And we sold them within like a week and a half of listing for $50. And it was half off day, I think. So it was like $3 or $4 for these. And I've always told you this, nerds, especially camera nerds, love anytime you find a t-shirt, a hat, a bag, anything with a camera on it, like Panavision. I have sold so much Panavision stuff, and quickly. This was not listed all that long, and this was a small t-shirt, sold for $31. So, you know, smalls, you tend to I don't know if I'm going to do smalls, but it sold within a couple of weeks, and I think it was a crew shirt, I think on the sleeve, which I'll have to talk to my assistant because I see no pictures of the sleeve. But still, $31. Anything camera related, pick it up. People love it. All right, you have seen our scores now. Time for our duds of the week, brought to you by WorthPoint. WorthPoint is the largest resource for identifying, researching, and valuing antiques, art, and vintage collectibles. And had Bridget or I used WorthPoint, we wouldn't have these duds. All right, I think you're up first. Yeah, here you go. But I think your dud's not a dud because it's a dud. I think you messed up.
Oh, I messed up royally on this one. Oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. So I got these for free for planning a Disney World trip. And I had them sitting on my desk and I was like, oh, I'm going to throw them up on eBay for like 15 bucks. And I got a best offer of $12. So I ship them and don't open the bag that they're stored in or anything. I just ship them. And then I start getting offers on the exact same thing. And I look and I'm like, oh shit. I had 8 of them and I put them up in 2 lots of 4 and I shipped my buyer all 8. You know, the good thing is they were free. The bad thing is I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
So I had to end the listing and I turned down all the offers, and then I had people emailing me, I'll give you 20. And I'm like, I'm completely sold out. So anyway, I need to dig around here and see if I have more from, you know, my various trips, see if I have some more around here that I can sell. But anyway, just don't do that. When you go to ship something, make sure that you ship exactly what's in the listing.
And just for all the listeners live and after the fact, I'm well aware that Bridget now sounds like a robot. It is the wonderful Kentucky Wi-Fi that she has. And we're going to have her tell her second dud story. Then she's going to refresh while I move on to the next segment.
Can they hear me?
You can. You can hear and understand, but of course it's not as clear as we would like it.
Okay. All right. Show the other side of those shoes, please.
Okay. Other side coming up. Here we go.
Okay. These shoes, yes, they're real Nike. They are Nike. Remind me what they are, son. Kobe. They're Nike Kobe Rose Gold, and they are an awesome score. Okay. Potential. I paid $4 for them. I could sell them for anywhere from $150 to $200. Okay. So I get them home. As you can see, they're rather large. They're a size 15.
They're longer than your shoulder span.
Yes, I'm aware. And they're a 15. And guess what happened? Yeah. My 14-year-old son saw them, stole them. So, you're welcome, son. At least he said thank you. So there's
how much did you pay for them?
I paid $4.
Paid $4. Could have sold them for $150 easy, and now there's a kid wearing them. And ladies and gentlemen, that is why I don't have children.
He loves them. He has worn them every single day since he stole them from me. I stole them back to put them down here as my prop, and I thought he was heartbroken when I didn't let him wear them today. So they were a score turned into a dud, but you know, I win mom points, so there's that.
All right. You go refresh. We'll see if we can get you to sound a little bit better. And now I'm going to do my duds. Now, one thing that I realized a long time ago is it takes just as much time and work to list a $20 CD as it does a $3 CD. And there was this epiphany I had many years ago. I'm only selling 20 and above CDs. Well, I don't know what happened here. I have no clue how I sold this CD today for $2, actually $1.99. I don't know why I listed $1.99 CD. I have no idea. So it's not so much that you're going to see this CD and go, oh, I have that one. But Pay attention to the things you're listing. It's just a waste of time and energy to sell things for $1.99. It's just silly. Now, you've seen this done before. I'm showing it again because I sold one, but I got more to sell. Last winter, I bought about 27 of these Captain Morgan winter caps with a pom-pom on top. Thought people would love them, those of us who drink rum. Apparently not. I can barely sell them for $8. So if you like Captain Morgan and you know winter is coming, I still have, even though it says 2 available, it's really like 22 available. So feel free to buy one off of me, please. All right, you've seen our scores, you've seen our duds. Now it's time for Close Encounters of the Thrifty Kind, where Bridget and I will tell you funny stories of interactions with usually people that are funny, weird, angry, messed up, bizarro, and mine's bizarro. So here is an ad I answered on Facebook Marketplace. And for those of you in the Secret Beach, I will be doing the video for the Facebook Marketplace how-tos this week. But they had various CDs, Broadway CDs, 40s, 50s, 60s, $1. And if you leave a little bit more, it says 2 Baker's boxes of various CDs, some new and some lately used, $2 a piece. So it's not $1, it's $2. Well, somehow, so we started a conversation. Let me see the picture. She sent me pictures. And then I ran off to San Francisco. So when I got back, I'm like, oh, I'll meet you. And so this is how our interaction went. She goes, cool. I'll meet you at the corner of Flamingo and Tropicana. To which I replied, those 2 roads run parallel to each other. To which she replied, oh, so you don't want to meet? And I said, no, I do. But those 2 roads do not intersect each other. So she goes, oh, Tropicana and Rainbow. I said, all right. She goes, there's a gas station on the southeast corner. So now I'm thinking, you don't know those 2 roads don't intersect, but you're now telling me southeast corner? That's pretty specific. But I'm like, all right, cool. I'll meet you there. So I get there and I'm waiting for her. And she shows up and I'm in my brand new truck. She's in an Audi. We're both driving very nice vehicles. No one, either of us are in a hoopty. And we're sitting, leaning over the back of her Audi in the trunk. And I'm looking through the CDs. And right away I noticed there's some water damage to a lot of them. And so what has happened is when CDs have water damage, the booklets stick to each other. And so now instead of having an actual booklet like this, it's stuck and you can't do anything about it. So I'm like, well, I'm going to have to pass because, you know, I need them all in good shape. And she goes, well, the CDs are great. I'm like, yeah, but your Audi's very nice, but if it doesn't have 4 tires, it ain't worth shit. And she's like, oh, what are you doing with these? Selling them? I go, yeah, I'm a reseller. She goes, oh, well, how much are CDs worth? I go, well, some are worth a nickel and some are worth $1,000. Just depends on what you got. So she said, all right. She goes, you sure you don't want some of them? I go, well, I'm just going to cherry pick the best ones instead of buying the whole collection. She goes, all right, that's fine. So I went through and I cherry picked them and I got them out and I started to count them and she would not trust my count. So she would yank them out of my hands and then count over me. So I just quit counting. So now she doesn't trust my counting. So we got to 39. I threw in one for 40. I made an easy $80. I hand her a 50, a 20, and a 10. And she goes, I don't like 50s. You have to give me all 20s. I'm like, what is going on? Am I being recorded right now?
Oh my God, you're being punked.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, give me the 50 and the 10 back. So I gave her all 20s. And then she says, hey, I've got all the Dean Martin roasts for sale. Are you interested? I said, VHS. She said, DVD. I said, oh, it might be. She goes, well, I got them at home. I go, all right, well, send me a picture through our messaging that we've already had, and I'll take a look at them. And she goes, well, I spent $280 on them. I go, that's great. I still want to see them before I can make an offer. So I get in my car. She gets in her car. And instead of driving away, I was answering some messages. She goes, hey, I got a picture of them. So I hop back out of the car, and we walk up to the gas station with the overhang so we can see in the shadows. And she's got it on her phone. So I lean over, look at her phone, and she pulls her phone away. I'm like, what is going on? So she finally shows me, and all she has a picture of is the receipt that she paid $280. It's not the DVDs. And I'm like, okay, send me the picture of the DVDs. So I get back in the car. I'm still answering messages. She knocks on the window again. I roll the window down this time. I go, yes. She goes, I have a picture of the DVDs. And she's kind of put her hand in the window. So I go to grab the phone. She yanks it away, opens the door, and climbs into my truck. And I say, or you could just get in my car And she goes, okay, I will. And I'm like, that was sarcasm.
Oh my.
So now she's just sitting in my truck looking at me. And then she's like, here's the picture. And it was the picture of the DVDs. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go home and do a little research. And she's like, oh, okay. And she gets out of my car. And I'm like, I'm going to drive away fast. I don't want to talk to her no more.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Was that the weirdest thrifty encounter I've ever had?
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Never had anyone just get in my car. She gave me bad directions, didn't trust my money, didn't trust my count, didn't trust me to hold her phone. Like, I'm not a derelict.
Well, you do look a little scary, Jason.
No, I don't look scary. Oh, wow. And the chat was asking, I was not in Crazy Town. I was on the west side of town in a normal part of town. Look, she was driving a nice Audi. There was nothing that said nutty about her until we got into it. So,
oh
all
my
right,
gosh.
You're up, robot. Unfortunately.
Am I still roboting?
Unfortunately.
Do you want me to refresh again?
Now go ahead, and then we'll get in the next segment. We'll try again. And I'm sorry, everybody. This is just Kentucky internet.
Oh my gosh. Yes, it's all me. So I was shopping the other day, and there was something that I wanted off of the top shelf. Imagine that. And I can't reach it. So I'm chit-chatting with this little old lady, and I'm like waiting for her to round the corner because I'm like doing this number, trying to get it. And she's like, honey, what are you doing? And I said, well, I need something off of there. I need something I can scoot it to the edge so I can get it. And she goes, move over. I'm like, okay. She's like 70-something, 80-something. She's got on these little high heel boots, leggings, cute as she can be. She proceeds to spider climb the shelving unit.
Where's the video of that?
I was so flabbergasted, I couldn't even get video. I'm just standing there like, I could have done that. I didn't know that's where we were going with this. She literally climbs up 3 shelves and is hanging from the top, handing me stuff. I was like, do you want me to help you get down? Nope. And she jumps down. I was like,
you should have said, pause. I need to take a picture of this.
What the hell? I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, I'm willing to climb if I have to, but I mean, she's like spider monkeying up. It was the weirdest thing. And then I put everything in the cart, and I was like, thank you. She goes, see ya. Let me know if you need anything else off the top shelf. I'm like, okay, thanks.
If you ever see her again, make sure camera is ready.
I
want to see that.
will.
I want to see that. The spider granny. Nice. All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to have you refresh one more time. I'm going to get into our next category, next segment. It is a thrifty tip of the week brought to you by Stamps.com Postage on Demand. Stamps.com's online postage service enables small businesses, enterprises like me and Bridget, Theresa and Peter, and online retailers to print U.S. Postal Service approved postage with just a computer, printer, and internet connection right from their home or office. And I am going to pause for another commercial. I have my Dennis sunglasses ready to go. And so if you're in the Thrifting Board or on Thrift Hunters fan page or on my personal page, I will have an order form up. So I am using Stamps.com to print all the postage out for everyone who's ordering glasses. And if you're in the Secret Beach, you also have the option of the cool Secret Beach glass, our first cocktail glasses for the Secret Beach. So if you're interested in those, keep an eye out on my wall on Thrift Hunters or in the Thrifting Board for the link. So here's my thrifty tip of the day. Sometimes, often in any thrift store, you can find one item that has been turned into something else. So it started life as this, and then it got turned into that. So what I want to show you is sometimes it happens for good, and sometimes it happens for bad. So when you're out thrifting, keep your thoughts about you that, okay, here's my example. This is a tiki mug. Woo. That is called Jungle Boy. It is not produced anymore. It's made by Tiki Farm. And someone made a bitchin' lamp. They put the little boomerang base with the bark cloth pattern on it. They got this great vintage-looking fiberglass 2-tiered shade. And I picked it up thrifting for like $20. Now, the mug alone is worth probably $40 nowadays. And if I wanted to resell this lamp, I could get 100 easy. So here's a good example of someone taking one object and turning it into another. Now, here's the other end of that. One of the members of the Thrifting Board found this. I said I must have it for my bad mug collection. The mug is pretty good, but the base that it is glued to is nutty. I don't know why in the hell they took this perfectly good mug and put it on this homemade shitty colored rainbow base. Now, the funny thing is, Steve sent it to me. So I told Steve, I go, hey, the mug's going to be part of my show tonight. And Steve wrote back, oh, man, I'm going to be the bad shipping segment. I'm like, no, actually, no, it's going to be a thrifting tip. But keep your eyes peeled for things that get turned into other things. This ain't worth anything but to me because I collect crappy tiki mugs. And the mugging, all that crappy, but the base is. But that the lamp's good. So always keep your eyes peeled. That's my tip. All right, you're up.
All right, can you hear me? Am I better?
Nope, same, but go ahead.
Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. It's Kentucky. Okay, my thrifting tip is if you're not going to list it, don't buy it. If you think, oh, this is awesome, I can make so much money on it, and you get it home and you get intimidated by it, or you just don't want to bother with it, or you don't want to ship it, don't buy it. Because then it just sits in your garage until your husband decides to clean the garage out. I don't have any experience with this, but I'm just saying, if you're not going to list it, don't buy it.
Good tip.
Yeah.
Good tip. All right. Now it's time for You Have Got to Be Shipping Me, where Bridget and I will tell you what to do and what not to do when it comes to shipping tips. You've Got to Be Shipping Me is brought to you by Bubble Fast, a family-owned business providing quality shipping supplies to the online community since 1999. Bubble Fast, the internet's home for shipping supplies. Make sure you use J&A. See the code right there for 10% off your entire order. And we're going to talk about Bubble Fast in a little bit here. All right, so I'm going to go first here. And here's my shipping tip. Now, if you saw my little video earlier, my video was I got this bitchin' lifeguard hat. Now, if you are in the Thrifting Board, you know people like Theresa and Bridget aren't called admins. They are called lifeguards. And I can't tell you how many times I get hard objects like this in the mail, and they have stuffed peanuts and bubble wrap down the center. Now, let me tell you, that does nothing but waste your peanuts and bubble wrap. But that's not the tip. The tip tonight is when you have something like this that is fragile, that is definitely when you want to use the heavy-duty packing paper. So you want to make sure it is good on all sides. So you're going to take your heavy-duty paper and you're going to pack it around the hat. And you don't need like this really deep box because the hat just has to fit. But you want to make sure that this is the time when you pack in the middle of the object. So you're going to take your paper. You're going to shade. I know that was nice and noisy, but you're going to want to fill this. And I'm going to put 2 in here. And once I put 2 in here, it'll really keep the shape of the middle of this nicely. I'm going to put a couple around on the outside, and then it can ship in this shallow box. Because it's not really breakable. I mean, it is. But if you drop it hard, it ain't breaking. But if it's got room to move, it can get crushed. And so this is the time where you want stuff in the middle. When you send hard objects, you do not need peanuts in here. They will not stop anything.
So when you ship that to me, I'll have an unboxing video to show everybody.
All right, no problem.
I'm kidding. All right, am I ready? My turn?
Yep.
All right, you got my pictures ready?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Back in the summer, I did a little shopping on eBay. Okay, a lot of shopping on eBay. But anyway, one day I received about 12 packages. And I kid you not, 7 of those packages, they used eBay shipping materials, these mailers that have the double thingies on the back. Okay?
The double thingies would be the
double stickies, okay?
The sealer.
Yes, those things. They have 2 of them on the back, okay? So they come to me with both of them stuck down. They had unpeeled both and stuck them down. Do you have any idea how frustrating it is to open them when they're like that?
Yep.
That's not the purpose of these envelopes. You are supposed to use 1, okay? And you stick it down. And then your buyer, when they get it, they can rip right here, rip it open.
Hold it a little higher. There you go.
I'm trying. They rip it open, and voila! Their envelope is open. But then if they need to return it or if they want to reuse it, they have another sticky strip to use. So it can be used again. Okay? Don't use both of them to seal the envelope for its first shipment. A, you're wasting your shipping supplies, and B, you're really pissing off your buyer. Jason has pictures of all of mine.
Yep.
I think I had 7. Did I send you 7 pictures? 7 out of 12 sellers had done this.
That's just crazy.
And in fact, someone, I won't name who, recently got a package from an actual eBay exec who had done that. They had used both of them. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Hell no.
Don't do that. So.
All right. I'm going to have you try the refresh again, and I'm going to move on to... our eBay tips of the week, brought to you by FreeUp. FreeUp with 3 E's is a hands-on solution to hire remote e-commerce workers. FreeUp vets hundreds of workers a week, so you get access to the top 1% of online talent whenever you need them. Sign up is free, no monthly fees, no minimum hours. Get the workers you need when you need them, and only pay for the hours they work. Brenda, hey, Brenda. A loyal viewer of the show heard Nate when he was on, is now on her way to building a remote empire with her team of FreeUp workers. Go to freeup.com with 3 E's to start to free up your time and scale your business. All right, so here is my eBay tip. It's kind of like a 2-parter. Make sure I'm on the right thing. Yep. Okay. So I had bought a Dead Man's Closet. If you've been watching the show forever, I've talked about stuff in the Dead Man's Closet before, but these were 3 of the shirts that weren't really worth the time nor the effort to sell by themselves. They were all Caribbean Silk. Caribbean Silk is a budget line brand of Hawaiian shirts, and 2 had a somewhat of a pattern, and 1 was just kind of solid green. But 2 things. I lotted them together because now they're, worth my time to get them all knocked out 1 lot. And I happen to have 3 different male mannequins, so I put them in the picture. Now, I did not make it so you needed to see all 3 shirts in their full glory in the first shot. Nope, we positioned the mannequins like it's a little powwow, 3 dudes just chit-chatting. And this way you do see all 3 shirts and you get the idea. And then when I go into the pictures, then we break down into the normal front, back, close-ups, and the like. But you do not have to, and then we even did this nice little triple to show the tags. But also, we use little pointers if there's little defects. So this is a good listening example of many different things that I've always used. Pointers for defects, nice grouping shots, and grouping things together when they're not worthy to be by themselves, but they are worthy as a group. Hey, Robot, how you sounding?
I don't know. Do I sound better?
Oh, you sound good.
Yay!
Talk fast.
Awesome. That's fantastic. I like how you grouped those together. Those would be great for somebody going on vacation to Hawaii or going on a cruise.
Yep.
That just wants 3 basic shirts to take along. That's awesome.
All right, you're up. Go.
What was the segment? I'm sorry.
eBay tip.
Oh, okay. Sorry. You made the robot go away. My tip is to be open to change. When we went to open, they announced some changes that were coming, and of course in the group people get their feathers ruffled about things that are changing and whatnot. Be open to those changes. eBay's not making those changes to deter sellers or to make your life hell. They're doing it because their test markets have shown that this is what buyers want. So be open to change. Be ready to make changes if it fits your business model. If it doesn't fit your business model, then don't do it. But if it does, or if it's like right on the brink, be open to those changes. Be willing to make changes to better your business.
And we see it a lot in the Thrifting Board, unfortunately. People who are set in their ways and they're still selling like it's $19.99. And, you got to be an amoeba when you're selling, especially online, because stuff's changing constantly. And either keep up or get left behind. So
the one that blows my mind is no returns.
I know. We'll definitely talk about that because it's gotten to be an epidemic. We're going to talk about that.
Yes.
All right, real quick before we get our guests in here, eBay Open's done. We're going to talk about in 2 seconds. But the next big event coming up is eCom Chicago 2017. Just got off the phone with the guys, the team that's throwing eCom. Couple things. I'm doing a live show from eCom. It's going to be a full hour. It's going to be awesome. But I've been given 4 entries to give away. It's a $200 value each, $800 to give away. So here's the deal. I don't know how I'm giving away yet, but next week I'm giving away 2 on Thrifty Business, and the week after I'm giving away 2. So 2 things. Participate, but only participate if you live in or near Chicago or will travel to Chicago in October. Please don't participate if you live in Australia and you're not coming to the United States. And inevitably, someone will do it and be like, oh, I can't go to Chicago in October. So stay tuned. I also have, for those of you who don't win, I do have a discount code to save $20 off your entrance fee. And I've got some grandiose ideas for my live show. So it's going to be a lot of fun. They've made it 3 days. eBay is part of the event now. It's going to be an awesome time. I've been there for years now, speaking and having a great time with everybody. And so please, if you want to come to a great smaller event, perfect event for you. But eBay is going to be there in full force. So to find out about the contest, you have to be in the Thrifting Board. So get into the Thrifting Board if you're not. And I will start the contest. I don't know what it is yet, but I will start it on Monday. And then we will draw the first 2 names on Thursday next week. And then the next 2 after that. Speaking of next week, I already have my guest and my co-host lined up. So I'm actually ahead of the game for once, which never happens for me. And my co-host next week is going to be Margaret Collier. You know her, you love her. And my guest is Craig Dawson. And Craig's actually going to talk about the wig he's wearing in this picture. But Craig's going to talk about a few things. Craig lives in Canada, and he just started a Canadian Facebook group about being eBay sellers in Canada. And so we're going to talk about, because Margaret's my co-host next week, we're going to talk about what it takes to start a Facebook group. And if you want to start one, say you have some other niche you want to talk about and start a little group, what it takes, what you should expect to get from it, and the things you got to deal with. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the trials and tribulations of being a Canadian seller. And also, Craig's husband was not a thrifter, but fell into it and now is a thrifter. So we're going to talk about what it takes to get your spouse involved. And then we're going to have a bonus show for the Secret Beach members, a little bit more about getting your spouse involved. And Craig's a Mac Daddy at pop culture. So we're going to nerd out on pop culture and tell you guys a bunch of things pop culture wise that you'll need to know to find cool stuff. So that's next week.
Excellent. I've been in Craig's group. I joined Craig's group. It's awesome. He's gotten off to a good start.
Let's talk this week. Let's get our guests in here, Theresa and Peter.
Yay!
All right, cool. Everyone's here, so sweet. All right, so let's talk to Theresa first. Now we're here to talk about eBay Open, what everyone liked, what everyone saw. But I gotta say hi, Theresa. I gotta reset something. Say hi, Theresa.
Hey. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Hi, Theresa. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Why are you here, Theresa?
What are you resetting?
I'm getting some pictures put.
Well, I'm either here to talk about eBay Open, or I'm here to talk about Glide, or
yeah. All right. Let's talk about Glide. That's what I was hoping you would say, because I'm going to lead right into that.
Okay.
So
you're going to glide right into that.
Yes. So before we get into Open, Theresa and I spent a weekend in San Francisco having fun and doing good for the community. And let's talk about that. So why were we in San Francisco, Theresa?
So I I made a donation. Hal Lawton made a tweet about the partnership that eBay has with the Glide Foundation in San Francisco. And in the tweet, he said, make a donation. So I did. Unbeknownst to me, that entered me into a contest, which I won the grand prize for. Ooh, best kind of contest to win is the one you don't know you're entered. And so the prize was a weekend in San Francisco, and you get to go to the Glide Gala, and then we got a tour of the Tenderloin District where they do a lot of their work, and then we got to help serve lunch to about probably 800 people, I'm guessing.
So tell her what the Glide Foundation does.
So the Glide Foundation, and I made a note on this because I was on eBay Radio and I actually didn't get to use this. It's a radically inclusive community mobilized to alleviate suffering and break cycles of poverty and marginalization. And I really like that. One thing, so when we were giving, Del Seymour gave Jason and I a walking tour of the Tenderloin District, and it's about 16 square blocks. And, you know, it's a real eye-opener. What I was really impressed with is how involved the community, the neighborhood community is with Glide. And we had dinner with other members of the Secret Beach, and one of the women there was saying that she works in a bank, and the bank gets together and volunteers with Glide, and they're in charge of serving meals 1 week every quarter or something like that. And so the employees get time off to go serve lunch, and so that's pretty cool. I was impressed with what they do, how much they do. There's still a huge need, and you know, they've teamed up with eBay, so it's been pretty cool. eBay, when we were giving the tour, eBay just donated $100,000 worth of computer equipment to this foundation. So they were very pleased with that. Yeah. So he said that's equivalent of 100 laptops, which for them is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and they're using computers to train people how to use computers, to help them, you know, let them use them to find jobs and the like. Yeah. And here's some pictures. So we got to go to the gala the night before. Yes, I'm in a suit. Let's.
You looked snazzy too.
Yep, and I will tell you, and those you know who have lost weight, this suit didn't fit me for a long time, and now it doesn't fit me again. But it's the other way.
I was gonna say it looks too big on you.
It is, but yeah. I'd rather have that than the other way. And then so here's Theresa and I in front of the step and repeat, and this is a slide showing that eBay is their big sponsor, and so it was a cool event. And this is us looking down on the event, just being
Y'all
Jason
clean
and
up
Theresa.
well.
Yeah. But here we are. Here we are working the lunch detail.
Hot sauce lady right here in the house.
Yeah, it's Mo's kitchen. And they looked at Theresa and said, "You're going to be our hot sauce lady." And I love that she was standing under the Love Unconditionally banner there, because that's kind of their mission, is to, it doesn't matter who you are, what you are. If you need a lunch, you get a lunch. So we did a lot. We spent the whole day, not the whole day, but we spent a couple hours helping out, and it was very rewarding. And we'll get to that in a second. It's very rewarding. And I was already thinking about using the Secret Beach and the Thrifting Board, now that we're these gelled big groups, to do some community good. And so this really reinforced it. So stay tuned. We're going to do some community good, but we're going to make it fun, and we're going to give away prizes, and it's going to be, it'll make you feel good, and someone's going to win some fun stuff, and we got all kinds of ideas. So stay tuned for all of that.
Very exciting. Very exciting. Yeah, very cool stuff.
Yeah, one of the things that I was very impressed with this organization is that they didn't care how many times you went through the line. It was kind of a shocker, because these people in line, they would come in and they open up their backpacks, and they'd have containers and baggies or whatever, and they'd put all their food in that, and then they'd go get in line again. And actually, I was grateful that Dell had explained this to us in our tour, or else I probably would be like, oh, they're messing with the system. But I call him the pit boss in the lunchroom. He said, not everybody wants to eat at 8, 12, and 4. And so they'll take the food home, or they have somebody that is at home that can't get out, and they don't care. You can go through the line. I counted one lady went through 9 times.
How humbling.
And it is. And it's, until the food runs out, they don't care.
And you don't understand unless you've been in that position how important that is.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no judgment. There's no anything. Everybody's welcome. And just a ton of people there ready to help out. And yes, it was very humbling. I was amazed at how many elderly people were there in the lines, and
That's
it is what it is. They actually serve over 2,000 free meals a day.
A day? Wow.
A day. 7 days a week, 365 or 24 hours.
It's such a well-oiled machine. Like, it was crazy.
Just boom, 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 boom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll talk more about that stuff coming up in the Secret Beach and the Thrifting Board. I got all kinds of ideas. But let's talk about eBay, because that's why we're here. Those of you couldn't make it, you missed out.
Yes,
I told
you
you
did.
After last year to come, You didn't come. This year was even 1,000 times better, and nothing was wrong with last year. But man, it got ramped up.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And part of the reason it got ramped up because our own Theresa was on stage. So let's look at these pictures real quick.
Oh no!
Getting ready. Oh, look at that!
Look at Theresa.
Oh no!
You know, you can watch.
Looking hot too, Theresa. Looking good.
You can watch Tim Cook be on stage, or you can watch Theresa be on stage. I'd rather watch Theresa.
Yeah,
and it was. I mean, it was. I was shocked, of course, when I was asked to do it, and it's funny because I've never spoken in front of 2,000 plus people. I wasn't nervous at all, but I joked because I don't like to get up and. And then I joke around because I know my eBay subject better than I know my church subjects, maybe. But yeah, it was fun. It was so energizing to be up there and just bantering back and forth with Bob and just doing my thing about promoted listings.
And you came up with a hashtag on the fly.
I know, and I ordered my shirt. It's supposed to be here by today, but it's not here. I got the hashtag "Shut Up and List."
On the fly, you came up with that. That was awesome. That was fantastic.
So if you did not, if you did not attend, you did not see Theresa on the main stage with one of the VPs. So awesome, and just it made me very happy and proud to call Theresa my friend, to see that she is that that important that eBay said we want you on the big stage in front of everybody. And so that was so awesome to see. And then when you see the graphics of her talking and the pictures of her, it's larger than life. It's amazing.
We may not have chanted, but we all stood and clapped. Our entire
I had my peeps. Bob was a little jealous about my peeps cheering me on, but I told him that I would share. I stayed everybody because it was the unexpected part was how everybody took time afterwards and stopped me while I was walking and just said, what a good job I did, or asked me questions about promoted listing or whatever. That was more fun to me. And so anybody that stopped me and just chatted with me, I appreciate that. If you see me next year or you see me in another event, please stop me. And if I helped you in the group or anything, remind me, because I'm horrible at names and faces. But if you tell me that I helped you with something, then I definitely want to chat with you. Some people said, oh, you were too busy. I'm like, I'm never too busy. This is why you go to these things, to meet up with these online stranger friends and get to chat with them face to face.
This is the time when it's not stranger danger.
And I wasn't as booked up as Theresa, but I felt like I didn't get to talk to everybody that I wanted to talk to. So with that said, we are always available via private message. I've had a lot of people reach out to me since open, people that I didn't get a chance to talk to, in depth or what have you. We're always available. We're more than willing to talk to you via private message or whatever, anytime.
All right, let's talk to the man in the bitchin' Hawaiian shirt there. Now, is that out of your closet or is that for sale?
Both.
Actually, it's mine now.
All right.
I actually went to list it. I found a little discrepancies, but they're in a very nondescript spot. So I said, it's mine.
Is it a Paradise on a hanger, or what is it?
It's Paradise Found.
Or Paradise Found. I'm sorry, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Paradise Found.
Right? Which, the trivia question on that, right, Jason?
Yep, they're the one that created the Magnum PI shirt, which is called Jungle Birds.
Which is also the only brand that Tom Magnum wore in the TV series.
Yep. And you can officially call it the Magnum shirt because that's how they sell it. That's how they advertise it. And they have Magnum in the picture with his shirt. And here's the real tip. I didn't know we were going to go this way, but you find it used, you can sell it for almost retail, and they still sell it for retail. Put it up there. Don't be afraid.
I sold the red one not too long ago for, I think, $80.
Wow.
Wow, that's over retail. Wait, shit, you went way above, and you still got it.
That's awesome.
Man, what is it that you teach us?
Don't pay attention to
Listen
retail.
high and let it fly.
Listen high and let it fly. You're right.
Yeah.
So let's talk, Peter. So, wanted to have, like last week we had Christina on. This week I want to have you on. I don't recall, so I'm going to ask you, was this your first eBay event or was this multiple?
Yes.
Oh, first one.
This was my first eBay event.
All right.
I've actually only been doing this for 3 years. So,
from a virgin standpoint, tell us what you thought.
Wow. Basically, almost to the point of overwhelming. I'm a kind of wall kind of guy as it is. So, getting in there and mingling and everything usually takes somebody to come up to me or a few glasses of courage before I start, start mingling around and stuff. But I got to tell you, the biggest thing that got me at the eBay Open was the energy. Not just from our group, which was phenomenal. Everybody. I mean, literally from the time you walk in to pick up your registration stuff until you leave the party on Thursday night, or actually even at breakfast Friday morning for those that made it, the energy was there. And that's what meant me, because it basically re-energized my want to be successful on eBay. And knowing that eBay was behind us in every way that they can be. There's a lot of people that, give bad words about sellers and about PayPal, all that crap. And no, they are behind the sellers 100%. And that's the main thing that excited me about it.
That's awesome. And that's what I always hope when new people come, because Theresa and Bridget and I and all the rest that have been going to events for years, when we tell you to come, it's for multiple reasons. It's for, obviously, you get to learn the new stuff. You get the chance to talk to 1,000 eBay employees. But the energy, I always thought the best thing out of any event I go to is the energy that leaves the event. Because you go home and you tell your friends or your spouse or your partner or your thrifting buddy or whatever, and then they get energized. And, some people, what we do is a lonely thing for the most part. You be quiet. Most of us work on our own by ourselves.
Go, Stacy.
No, it was it was the speaker turning off and telling me it was turning off. So when you get a chance to interact with others, and in a way that just throws this energy into you, it fuels you. And it's only the middle of summer, but let me tell you, you all should be rocking and rolling and prepping for Q4 already. And so walking out of this event, I'm always jazzed. And I know I was, and I think Theresa was, we were so busy with events and doing things, we didn't get to a lot of the classes. Now, luckily, they're all online, so I get to watch them next week.
Right.
And I because I was also broadcasting, and then Theresa was broadcasting, but I needed to put my credentials. It was just this crazy busyness, which is fine. I'm not complaining, but I didn't get to the classes like I like to, and now I get to watch them. So knowing that I can watch them later, I was allowing myself to be involved and busy. And it's so great to hear a new person get excited. Now, Peter, I need you to do something. Everyone wants to see more of your shirts. So they want you to stand up a little bit. Do you have pants on? That's
Good to check.
Yeah, that is a great shirt. I do not have that one, nor have I found that exact one in a long time. I find the red and the purple. It's a great shirt.
Where is the flaw, though? You said there was a flaw.
So what's the flaw, Pete?
It's actually on the collar. I mean, not even in a place where people will even see it. But
you just wanted an excuse to keep a cool shirt.
Bingo.
Yeah. I got it. I feel you.
I could easily point it out, and everything else, but I figured, hey, I need one.
Wear it.
So
yeah,
exactly.
Well, I gotta tell you, I gotta get rid of all my 3Xs. I'm gonna start looking at my 2Xs for sale and see what fits. I might have to yank down some listings. All right. So what was
go ahead,
Peter. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if you're known for selling Hawaiian shirts, you better wear them.
Oh yeah.
Good point. Good point.
Hey, you wouldn't go to a tattoo artist that doesn't have tattoos now, would you? No.
Nope.
There you go.
What was the biggest thing? So of all the new stuff that eBay shared with us that's coming down the pike or is already like kind of here, like guaranteed delivery, what was the one that struck you the most? That like, whoa, that is awesome.
It's got to be the image search. eBay's image search. When I was sitting there in that general session, and I'm sorry, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he got up there and
Mohan.
Showed, yes, thank you. Showed how it was going to work, and that you could take a full body picture walking down the street and actually pick out what part of that picture that you wanted to search on. I mean, I thought that was absolutely phenomenal. And then to put the cherry on the cake, one of my morning rituals is always watching the morning news on ABC when I have my coffee. And lo and behold, what did they have on ABC's Tech Bites the next morning? eBay's image search.
That's
nice.
You know, I mean,
sweet.
I was sitting there just going, whoa. I thought that was absolutely amazing.
I was watching the Today Show this morning, and there's this woman that had a dress on that reminded me of the Fill Your Cart with Colors campaign. And I took a snapshot of it on my phone, and I'm like, I wish I had image search already, because I would totally be buying that dress.
Oh yeah, that dress was
I tweeted
awesome.
it.
Should be the walking
Tweeted it to the
billboard.
Today Show and see if they'll let me know where I can get it, because it's an awesome. It's got the color blocks on it and everything. It was just a cool dress.
It was a neat
So-
dress.
So Theresa, since we got you up on the screen right now, what was the biggest thing that you enjoyed from eBay Open of technology or features that are coming up?
Well, you know, definitely the image search features that coming up. I don't know if it was so I just spent 2 days at eBay headquarters, and so I got to meet with a lot of different teams. And so when you talk about different things that are coming up, they are slowly rolling out a new active listings page. And so they added me on that yesterday, and I'm looking at it. I've already given them feedback about some things I didn't like and some things that I did like. Worked with another team on some. So here's an interesting thing that happened to me that so I think some of you know, but I'll explain it, that when I moved from Williams, Arizona, which was 3 hours north, to a suburb of Phoenix, I left 90% of my inventory on my old property, which is, you know, amazing that I can do that. And I've hired a 13-year-old to ship it for me. So I know, but you know what? Talk about trust. But I mean, this is the most awesome 13-year-old you'll ever meet. But I had to put my entire store on vacation. And then when I went, because I didn't have it set up for her to ship yet, but when I went to open, I still had to do that, where she could have shipped. I having Gilbert wasn't available. So one of the things that I talked to him about, I talked to several people, and they were like, oh my gosh, that's a great idea. We'd never thought about that, was being able to select your individual listings for active or inactive status. So,
Awesome.
you know, if I go on vacation, then I can just list the Gilbert items inactive. If she goes on vacation, she could just list the Williams item inactive. And for those of us that sell on Amazon and have cross-listed, my Amazon listings never have to go inactive. So right now they have this platform of it's an all or nothing vacation mode. So that was the most fun, because I actually talked to a guy that used to be in stores, and he's like, I've never even thought about that. And so I even had a little way of how I thought it could work. And so who knows how long that will take, but everybody I talked to was thrilled about that. So
That's awesome.
not really something, but that's something where I talk to people, you know, I'm always looking to improve something. So that's a situation that just happened to me, and I'm like, this would be awesome if it could do A, B, and C. And they sat there and listened. So
It's ideal for snowbirds. We have a lot of snowbirds that live here and here part of the season, you know, part of the year or whatever. That's awesome.
yeah, you're right. That would be great for snowbirds. So yeah, so my suggestion would be use the comments or feedback button on every page. If you click it on every page, then it goes to the right team, and they do read every single comment. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give a little pat on the back to ourselves as a whole. This is the reason you watch my show. This is the reason that you are in the Thrifting Board, is because we are not just like, hey, we're going to be leaders. We are leaders, but we are leaders that have connections to eBay, that have personal relationships with the people within eBay. And and you can show up like Theresa did for 2 days and meet with a bunch of different teams and be like, here's the things we need as sellers. And they'll listen. Now, they'll listen to everybody, but they'll definitely listen to us, because we, over the years, have fostered these relationships. And we always do it for the betterment of everybody. I've never had a conversation just because of something I need. I see what people need. You know, when you lead a group of 32,000, you see what sellers need. And so when I have the ear of someone, I say, here's what we need. And Theresa's done it, and we've all done it. So make sure that if you have a friend who's into selling on eBay and they're not on the Thrifting Board, come hang out with us because it is the right place to be. All right, Robot. Unfortunately, the robot's back. What was your favorite thing? I have a picture up. I am assuming this is your favorite thing.
eBay Authenticate. They are starting an authentication program. It will be fee-based, but either sellers can opt into it, and if you sell, say you sell a Coach handbag, and you're in the program, you send it to the program, they authenticate it, and then they send it on to your buyer. If you choose not to be in it, your buyer can be in it. They will pay the fee. The bag will still be sent to authentication, and then it will be sent to the buyer. That way, you know, your Louis, your Gucci's, your Louboutins, whatever. Right now they're starting with handbags. But all of that stuff will be authentic before it reaches the buyer. And that is amazing. I'm so excited about that one because you all know that I'm very against inauthentic goods. I think that they need to be destroyed, and I've written a whole reason why they need to be destroyed. There's a whole lot of money that goes into nefarious activities that's based around your fake goods. So I'm very excited about that program.
And right in the middle of that sentence, you changed to normal. Damn.
Yeah.
Right.
So crazy.
It's all part of my plan.
Yeah, it is. All right, I'm going to show a couple other pictures that I wanted to share from eBay Open just to show you the fun shenanigans. They had this neon sign built, and then the person who was in charge of it would take your phone or your camera and take pictures. But this person knew very well how to pose you, how to get you in the right spots. And I took a bunch of pictures, but here is me and 3 of the lifeguards from the Thrifting Board, Lorna, Bridget, and Katie, the Shine Award winner. So that's just the little things they do. They don't have to go out and spend a lot of money to build a neon heart eBay sign for just a photo op, but they did.
So do you want to know what I learned about that sign yesterday?
Where's it going?
Well, so apparently Bob Coopens has a thing for neon signs and loves it. And he said that when there was an opportunity presented to have this done, they jumped on it. And now it sits outside of his, I guess they don't really have offices, but they have like cubicles and then they have conference rooms. So it sits between 2 conferences room by his desk, and it's awesome. So I took a picture with Bob yesterday in it. And actually, I haven't even looked at it, to be honest.
I'm surprised you didn't try to steal it.
I don't know if you're going to say it's in a bathroom.
Wait, Bob is in a cubicle?
Bob's in a cubicle.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, and so is Hal Lawton, and so they don't have exec offices. No,
Devin is the only one. Devin is the CEO. If you don't know, Devin is the only one that has an actual office like you would expect with 4 walls and a door. But everyone else, from top to bottom, they have these kind of free-flowing areas and cubicles and stuff. And it's definitely not cubicles. It's not cubicles like office space, that's for sure.
No.
Yeah.
But it is free-flowing areas where, you kind of work together in groups. So instead of being walled off from the person next to you, you get to work with them, and you're working on projects all the time. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's open. It's open space with just tables. There's no walls between you and your neighbor. So very, very Silicon Valley techie.
Yep. Now, here's a great shot. The eBay photographer was taking a picture of me taking a selfie of the Thrifting Board. Awesome. So we had a great time. And again, this is part of the fun because you hang around me and Theresa and Bridget, and you're part of the Thrifting Board. Not only does everyone who comes to the event have fun and learn and get energy, when you're part of our group, it's a whole different level. Am I right, Pete?
Absolutely. It is a totally different level.
Absolutely. But I'm right behind your watch.
Am I?
I'm in the front with the beach ball on my lap.
And then anytime you can find an escalator going up or down, the lead person whips out their phone for a selfie, and you can get a lot of friends. Now, Robin isn't really eating Bridget's fingers. That's just how it worked out. But there's Robin in the back, and then Bridget, and then Vicky, and then my mom, and then Theresa, and then myself. So that's just a little.
And a bunch of other random people that are wondering what the hell you're doing.
Yep, and so
I don't even remember taking that picture.
Yep, that's just a bunch of little extra tidbits. Escalators make good selfies.
Yeah, they do.
Hey, Peter, is there anything that you saw or you didn't see that you're like, I wish I would have seen that, or that didn't seem so hot to me? Anything that kind of not bummed you out because that's not what we're here to talk about, but anything you wish you would have heard more of, maybe?
Maybe a little more geared toward the reseller standpoint.
Okay.
I see it seemed a lot was based toward people that sold a lot of different unusual stuff, but not really what we
Thrifters.
Yes, yes, exactly. I mean, what they were selling was awesome stuff, and a lot of the repurposing, especially a lot of what the Shine Award winners were doing and stuff like that is amazing. I think that's awesome. But I kind of have a feeling that the thrifters are the foundation of the whole thing, and got a strong foundation. Well, everything else stands strong.
There you go. Absolutely.
Yeah, and even my mom's in chat saying they need to do more for the thrifters. Now, not everyone thrifts, but if you're watching the show, you're probably a thrifter. But yeah, I can see us making some suggestions. What was nice this year, and if you didn't attend, and I'm gonna post the link to all the videos in the Thrifting Board. But they had different panels of sellers, and so I was on the collectible panel. Cool. I spoke on Wednesday and Thursday, and we talked about what it's like to be a collectible seller, because it is, when you thrift everything, it's one thing, but when you focus on a niche, there is a lot of more skill involved. And so we talked a lot about that. But what was cool is all the panels, although there was some kind of preset chatter, it was left up to the audience to ask questions. So it went wherever the audience wanted to go. And that's what's really nice too, is they let the audience drive a lot of the stuff. All right. So speaking of stuff and thrifters, our two guests have shared some of their scores with us. So let's see what they got. So Peter was unique that he sold some shirts, a couple here or there.
Oh, yeah.
So tell us about this, will you?
Awesome. This was actually the last one of a group of 29, 29 Mambo Loud shirts that I picked up last October. It took 9.5 months to sell all of them, but it will easily be the greatest thrifting find I've ever had. I can't see going above that. For all 29 shirts, 20 of them were 2XL and 9 of them were XL. I paid some change. By the way, I got them all on half off day at Salvation Army.
Okay, so let's pause for a second. I want everyone to sink in. Salvation Army, just hanging on the racks, half off day. You spent under $100. Okay.
Actually, I would not have even known about this brand if it wasn't for the group, because I'd seen it mentioned before. One here, one there, stuff like that, over $100 for a used Hawaiian shirt. It stuck with me. And as soon as I hit the rack and I saw the first shirt, actually, the first shirt of the day was not one of the Mambo Louds. It was actually a Dragonfly shirt that I found. And Dragonfly is a great seller, not like Mambo Loud, but it's a great seller. I get, $30, $40 for them all day long. So I was like, oh, great. Okay, it's going to be a good day. Very next shirt, Mambo Loud. Take it off, put it in my basket. Next shirt, another Mambo Loud. I'm like, oh my God. And I just start pulling these babies off the rack. And so basically, long story short, the most expensive one I sold for $250 to a guy in Germany. This was the last one I sold for $130. The cheapest one, or the least expensive one, I should say, went for $110. 75% of them went overseas. So they paid shipping. So I didn't even have to pay shipping.
Awesome.
That's
so
fantastic.
Yeah,
And what was the final number on all sold shirts?
34 and change, almost $3,500.
So you spent under $100 and you turned it into $3,500 in sales because of learning from other thrifters.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was about this brand.
So
if
awesome.
I hadn't heard about it on the board.
Oops.
Were you tempted to keep any of those?
Yeah. No, I was tempted. Yes. No, I didn't.
Yeah. No.
I wouldn't.
No.
I'm more of a traditional Hawaiian shirt guy. Funny thing is, a lot of people don't realize is this brand was started by a bunch of surfers down in Australia that had an idea that they could put anything on a button-down camp shirt and call it Hawaiian.
That's awesome.
And that's how it became so big that they got bought out, and of course, big corporations, stupid, stopped the line. So anyway.
All right. So speaking of more traditional, here's another one of your solds.
I use this one because of the fact that you got to know what you're selling. Hilo Hattie, you can sell it for $19.99, and you can sell it for even more. I mean, you get a vintage one like this. It wasn't bark cloth, but it was 100% cotton. It was tapa. It's a little more vintage looking and such. And it sat for probably about 5-6 months. But one thing I've learned with Hawaiian shirts is they take the right buyer.
Yeah.
Just because it's a certain brand doesn't mean it's going to fly off the shelf, unless it's something like Mambo Loud.
Right.
But with Hilo Hattie, I'd be hard pressed to say there were probably less than a couple thousand Hilo Hatties out there on eBay per se right now. But if the buyer sees one they like, they'll pay the money for it. And $40, and I think I spent $240 for it, something like that.
Nice.
Well, and something else on Peter's listing there, he offers 60-day money back return. That right there.
Actually, Bridget, I did that coming back from the Open.
Did you really? Okay.
When I was at the Open, that was one of the things they talked about was doing 60-day money back returns. I used to do 30-day buyer pays, but now I do 60-day seller pays. And I have seen an increase in my sales.
That's awesome.
I changed that.
That's one of those changes I was talking about earlier. Don't be afraid to go with the ebb and flow here. That's awesome.
Exactly. I mean, if they return it, so what?
Exactly.
Relist it.
I mean, what's it going to cost you for them to send it back? $4?
And you may end up with a repeat customer.
Exactly. Show good customer service, and you'll be happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's talk about this Blizzard crew, man.
Well, this one, I snagged this one up because a while back, and I did post this on the Thrifting Board, I had done some research, or basically some homework, like Jason does with his tiki mugs every night. I tend to check the casual shirt sales. And I saw a Blizzard shirt. It was different from this. It was a button front, but it sold for $70. And lo and behold, a couple days later, I found one of those shirts and did the same thing. Even though it was a medium, I paid like $3 for it and sold it for $70. So when I saw this Blizzard crew shirt, I said it was only like $2. And I said, I'm going to take a chance on this. And I threw it up there. There were no other comps. And $99, I figured, heck, if I can get that $25 for a $2 shirt that I paid for, I'm happy. And so it sold recently here, and probably was in the store for probably 3 or 4 months.
Nice. Now, what I'm really excited about, even more so than Mambo Loud, is the price you got for this Starbucks coffee mug, because Starbucks isn't as hot as they used to be. However, you seem to find the holy grail. What the hell? $200?
I've never even seen one of these
for Sacramento.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was blown away myself. I mean, when I was at the thrift store, I didn't even look it up. I mean, I recognized it as one of that series from the Thrifting Board, Bolos, and I just put it in my basket. I didn't even look it up. And I got it home, and took the pictures, and I was looking it up, and there were no soles. And I was like, wow. And so I went back and I looked at the listings for it. And at that time, and I checked this before we came on the air tonight, at that time, there were only 3 listed. The least expensive was like for $225. I paid $1.80 for this mug. Now, normally I go by your credo of listed high and let it fly. But I said to myself, why the heck, $225, $275. There was one listed for $325, something like that. And I said, let's undercut them. And so I listed it for $199.99, and it was on there for about 3 or 4 weeks. I got an offer for $150, and I took it.
Ugh, you're killing me, Smalls. I would have held out.
I love it.
It's like, why? Oh shoot! Why should I wait? To get a whole price there when I've already got an offer here for $150. And
because you only had $2 into it.
Exactly.
See, that $2 I would have said it's only $2. I would have just waited for at least maybe.
I mean, that was the first offer I got, and the funny thing was, and this kind of, Bridget, you kind of helped me with this. The item was bought by a guy in the UK. However, he wanted me to ship it to an address in Arizona.
I remember that.
And I tried with Bridget told me just go ahead and send him an invoice. And I sent him the invoice in a few different ways, not adjusting the shipping and giving him the amount of shipping discount, changing the shipping to just zeros. And for some reason, it would let me send it to him.
But he couldn't pay it?
But the customer couldn't do it so that it would have the Arizona shipping address.
Right.
So what I ended up having to do was actually I had to go into PayPal and print the shipping label through PayPal because eBay wouldn't let me change the shipping address from UK to United States.
Gotcha.
So I went on, I called eBay and I said, hey, what can I do? They gave me a couple options that were all buyer involved. And I'm like, I don't want the buyer to have to go through this stuff. Exactly. And finally he said, oh, well, there's a third option. Try printing your shipping label through PayPal. And I was able to do that.
Awesome.
And I got it out to them.
Happy seller, happy customer.
Feedback,
yeah.
But there you go.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Right. And we're going to finish up the show with Theresa's 2 recent scores. And she has a Hawaiian shirt, too. It's like, that's the thing to do.
I know. It's a Hawaiian shirt. Whatever. So there you go. I can't see the post up there, but I remember this. I think I sold this just over the weekend when so I had to turn my store off, but I turned it back on Tuesday morning and maybe Monday morning. And so I've had this shirt listed for a while, and I paid $3 for it, and I sold it for what I sell it for, $50. I can't see it, Jason.
$44.19.
Oh, okay. So so I think I had everything on a 15% discount.
Yep.
So $44 for a shirt. I think I had it listed originally at $55 or something like that. So yeah, and this was definitely listed and forget it. I meant to look to see when I listed it, but I forgot to do that. So I'm slowly getting rid of all my Hawaiian shirts and stuff. They're moving out the door, and I'm pricing them, adjusting them, putting them on sale.
It's a nice shirt. So
nice,
kind of calm shirt.
And let me tell you,
yeah,
because I know my shirts, it's not an uncommon shirt, and many different brands have made this shirt. And Theresa, you kind of got top dollar for this shirt, so good job.
Because guess what? I don't care. I only spent $3 for it. I'm waiting for that guy that has to have that shirt.
I know my shirt. It's not an uncommon shirt, and many
Uh-oh.
brands.
I'm not hearing myself all of a sudden.
It's me, sorry.
All right, and then we're gonna take a left turn, and we're gonna go into Disney.
Yay!
So this is something that I've had for, I know, I've had it for a while. I picked this up on a Facebook market group, whatever they call those things, garage sale group, before they had Marketplace. So I've had it for a while. I actually bought it before I moved. And I bought this, and I had the Cinderella one. I probably had 5 of them. And I think I paid $25 for all of them. And I didn't know anything about this Polly Pocket Disney stuff, but I learned about it in the group and picked this up. And so this is the last one to sell. And I think I had it priced at $75, but I had it on 15%. Is that
Yep, and he's over
right, Jason?
$63.74.
Now, you had my address. You could have sent it to me.
You didn't send me my $63.
Isn't my love and devotion enough, Theresa?
It should be, right? So yeah, so this is one that I put everything on my store 15% off, and everything in my store was promoted. And so, those 2 combinations, my phone keeps cha-chinging, which I love. So yeah, I was happy to get these both long tail items out of the store.
Awesome. Well, that was a jam-packed show, and no matter what we talked about, I see in the chat the bottom line was people are excited they learned about Blizzard and Mambo Loud. So thank you, Peter, for bringing those 2. Now, you know what's funny is I see some longtime members of both my groups going, I never heard of Mambo Loud. Peter's talked about him. We've talked about him forever. But you can't read everything. So
and here's the thing
you learn every day.
The group. Yeah, the group is so big and it's so active that if you're not on there all day long, you're bound and determined to miss stuff. It just goes, The feed just goes by so quickly. So.
And you shouldn't be on there all day long. You should be listing, you should be shipping, you should be shopping. So you should be on there all day long.
Brenda, shut up and list.
Yep. Now that you
She's such a taskmaster.
I'm going to end on our porthole. So thank you very much, Bridget, for being the co-host, robotic and all.
Pins, Jason.
Yeah, let's see your pins. That's another part of eBay Open is collecting pins.
I had 2 lanyards.
Good Lord, that probably weighs as much as you do, tiny girl.
I made noise when I walked.
I didn't do as well, but I got a bunch.
Yeah, I got
and then
one.
You got one. I have a couple extras, Jason. I'll send them to you.
All right.
I have some like pins.
So, Bridget, thank you for being the co-host tonight. Teresa and Peter, thank you for being the guest tonight. And make sure to set your alarm. Oh, you're so welcome. Please. We yammered all night, and people are like, "Oh, I like Peter's 2 tips."
I know. What are we, chopped liver?
I know.
Us lifeguards, man, just send us out to sea.
But don't forget, tune in next week. Now, I'm going to try and fit it in next week during the day or during the week, so keep your eyes peeled. I'm going to do a thrift haul with our good friend Nick Garces. You know, Nick, he was in one of the thrift haul throwdowns. He's been a guest on the show before. Police officer out of LA who is a full-time thrifter besides being a full-time police officer. So I think Nick and I are going to co-host a thrift haul together next week. And then, of course, next Thursday, Thrifty Business, 9 p.m. on the East Coast, 6 p.m. on the West Coast. Special guest co-host Margaret Collier, and we're going to talk Facebook groups, selling from Canada, how to get your spouse involved, and all kinds of other shenanigans. So, everyone, thank you very much for being on. Thanks for watching live. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe down below. If you have not clicked like, please give us a like. If you don't like what you saw, really tell us you don't like it. Click the thumbs down twice, and we'll really know that you don't like it. So, for everyone, thank you, and have a wonderful evening.